What's up guys? Yet another swelteringly hot day here in China. That did not deter me from going outside as it normally would do, because I recently got a DJI Mavic Pro drone. In 5 days time I go back to England for the first time in 3 years, and in the 4 years I've lived in China I've only been back once. Super important trip. I left England a single guy. I went back a year later with my, at the time, girlfriend. Now I'm going back 3 years on, 3 years and a couple of months on from this, and I am married, I've bought a house, and I have a 7-month-old baby. So this time I'm taking the baby, my wife, and my in-laws all the way back to England. So long story short, we've got a bunch of stuff with family and with friends. So perfect opportunity to get some awesome footage for some vlogs with the new drone. Anyway, my first thoughts on the drone. DJI are arguably, I would say, the best drone company in the world. I bought the Mavic. The Mavic, amazingly good footage, but also travel ready. I did think about buying the Phantom 4, but too big, too inconvenient. So I wanted to have a go with it as much as possible before I go, so that I can, without too much hassle, get footage or at least know what I'm doing and not crash it. You know what I mean? So the first day I tried using it yesterday was a little bit hectic. So I bought the Fly More combo. I got it all out of the box. I charged the 3 batteries all at the same time. I charged the remote. I got it all ready. I thought I got it already anyway. I put the propellers on, calibrated the IMU. What I did when I updated the firmware, however, was I left it on the running machine, this one here behind me, and I think it said on the screen, electromagnetic interference. I noticed this pretty quick, so I took it off and I carried on with the firmware update. I think that because it updated the firmware, or started updating the firmware, where there was electromagnetic interference, it did something with the installation. So I didn't notice anything, so I took it outside to go and have a play with it, and it wouldn't let me take off. It wouldn't let me calibrate the compass. It just kept failing, because it kept saying there was electromagnetic interference. Anywhere I went, it said electromagnetic interference, and I was tearing my hair out. So I went online. There was some kind of worrying stuff about, oh, the compass might be broken. So mine was kind of looking like the compass might have been broken too. Anywho, turns out I installed Assistant 2, I reset the whole thing, I wound back all the firmware, I reinstalled everything. So I took it outside a little while later, calibrated the compass, everything is fine. Anyway, I took it to the park with my family just to have a quick go. It is the easiest thing to fly ever. Like, to get it off the ground, to fly it around, fantastic. It feels a little bit scary sometimes when you see it shoot right up into the sky or you're flying over somewhere, but generally overall, super easy. So it wasn't all smooth. I did find that it gets confusing when it's gone away from you, and then it's like to turn it back round and to know it's going straight forwards. I found it confusing where to look at the drone in the sky, to look at the screen. I was worried about hitting things even though there was nothing in the sky. Actually going around with it, brilliant. I've seen lots of videos which say I've got to change the settings to make it more cinematic. At the moment when you turn, unless you're very careful, it's very jumpy. So here's some footage I shot with it. Please go easy. First time ever flying it. Don't think it was too bad, but I've got so much more I want to learn. I do now realize the auto white balance is not good to leave on. I've watched a few videos and it says you need to pick a preset, like the sunny, the cloudy, the blah blah blah. I do plan to go into the camera settings next and practice getting all the camera and all the footage right, but the main point for today was just flying it. Super easy, was great, until one thing. So I almost crashed. So I don't know if you call it a crash. It was this far from being a proper serious crash. I wanted to get it close to some trees because there was something on the ground which looked cool, and I wanted to go down low and go right up high. Mistake number one, because I wasn't close to the trees, I couldn't see how actually close I was to the branches. So I didn't realize until the Mavic suddenly went ding 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 ding, by which time I panicked and I didn't know which way the drone was facing. So I just tried banking away and banked straight further into the trees. Then there's this horrible noise like a blender going off, and it was the propellers mashing up the trees and bits of like the smaller branches and stuff coming down. Luckily I didn't hit any big branches, so I quickly figured out which way it was round and backed it straight out. Luckily no damage to the Mavic, although I have had to spend a little while cleaning it with some wet wipes and some dry tissue because there was a fine green powder and bits of leaves like pretty much everywhere, on the propellers, on the body, like in some of the like sensor holes. Always, if you're going to fly it close to something, I would advise standing as close to it as possible so you can see exactly where it is. The Mavic is pretty stable, but today it's quite windy as well, so that probably wasn't in my favor. So high wind, me not being close enough, and generally just not knowing which direction the drone was pointing, so when I tried to evade the tree, I actually went into the tree. Luckily this time no damage, lesson learned. So here's the classic, you know the drill. Like, subscribe, share, and I'll see you next time.